Hello and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of Detox. Today is a very special episode because I'm very excited to have a founder who is not an NIC Pakistan alumni founder, but he's doing some fantastic work, and we want our audience to hear from him what he's been up to. So really excited to have Abdul Samad Amin with us. He is the ex-CEO and founder of Capital Light. Some of you might remember iconic restaurant in F11 Islamabad. He's also an entrepreneur trainer at the startup school, and he's currently running a consultancy where he's helping founders of small and medium businesses scale their startups. So, Samad, wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, guys?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Brilliant to have you. Brilliant. I'm sure there's a lot of insight that you can share today. But before we talk about your businesses and the fun work you're doing for founders in this community, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, where did you grow up, and what was life like for you before you started your first company?
So I was born and raised in Islamabad, and I come from a background which is like my family. My father is basically working for the government. He was working with UNICEF. Like he's a job person, and I growing up, I saw people who had businesses, and I saw them grow. Really grow. So that kind of just made me think that I'm gonna switch to this. And coming back, I've done my A levels from LGS, and then I went to business school fast. The reason I went to business school, I think, is a really important one because I choose that if I want to do business, I have to study business as well. I feel that's really important because you actually understand the whole dynamics from handling HR to marketing to overall you like a cross cluster. And as I was working, I started entrepreneurship while I was in my college.
So you started very young. I think you mentioned that you had your first company when you were 20.
Yeah, I was 19. Yeah,
Tell us about that. What was that?
so basically, it was an idea. So I'll just like a quick background. So with my family, my mother is the food. Everybody loved around the family. Look, we used to get a lot of praises around, and it was summer vacations. I remember nothing more to do, and we were sitting on a table. I remember, and I'm like, let's see you get so many praises, and then let's try this out. Let's make a Facebook page for short. Just for fun. And it turned out, and I remember we made a Facebook page, we posted some pages, and some couple of things we were selling. And initially the next day we get an order of brownie. So and then just telling you how haphazardly it was.
Yeah.
And then we got an order, and I remember, so we made it obviously, but we used to be making it or serving it at our places. So the packing part, all of this, how to serve all of that, that wasn't also not even known. So then just quickly we got the bag. I remember I got a box from somewhere, and we got it delivered. And it was the first order. And I remember it was I got like $150, and it costed me around 120, but it gave me that motivation in the
Yeah.
part that yes, I can do it. I got a first customer, and honestly, that's a big block in the head that you will not get it. Like, how will you get customers? And then that was the journey. And then growing up, just as and then Ramadan came, so we had orders of different homemade things coming up, and that basically it started in short. And then whatever the money I made, I saved. I got a new oven, and then I got a just trading there. And then I was studying as well. Then I got another, like, just the money that used to come up. So I used to just buy something and just invest, and that's how we grew.
Reinvest in the business.
Yes, I did not have any other money from the start where I started. I think that's really important. It was an idea and a firm belief that I can do it. And the money that came, I started expanding, and expanding.
Brilliant. There was no investment. It was completely bootstrapped.
Yeah.
And that was that first order that just changes the whole mindset, doesn't it?
Yeah, it gives you that confidence, and you don't even realize. Yes.
That's an interesting learning for the founders listening in right now, that if you can just try it, make your first sale, give it a shot, that's going to open a whole new world of possibilities in your mind. And it always starts up here and here, doesn't it?
Exactly. And how you saying it, I'm just going back, like nostalgia is happening. So I feel that confidence, growing up with all those entrepreneurship, really has also helped me in personal life, that whatever I can think, I can achieve it. I think that is a very powerful
It
way
is.
to get it.
Definitely.
So with those things, and then you saw the whole the whole journey, and there's a lot of ups and downs, but it's just that as you said with founders, I think that believe in yourself and consistency. I think that's the
Very nice. Well, that's the first takeaway from this conversation. So tell me, I mean, your father and your mother, they both played important roles in inspiring you, and obviously the environment. But were there any other people who inspired you? Any mentor other than that who you'd like to maybe mention something?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of like mentors. I have like what I've done is personally I've got like different mentors. Like I have a very spiritual mentor. That's Farid Ayaz, the
Okay.
Kamal.
Okay.
So basically, his son and me are really good friends. So and he and me are also really good friends. We always tell him, and then he gives me one thing he said. I really it's very close to my heart. I'm just remembering that. Just keep going on and just have a strong connection. तुम्हें लोगों से नहीं अल्लाह से सब कुछ मिलेगा.
Wonderful.
That's actually true. I am not a person who just uses religion, but that's actually what have happened. So he changed my perception because before that I was like, okay, I was so worldly involved in things, but that thing and that how he said it. So Kamil is a spiritual mentor, and then in terms of professionally, my real mentor is Pervez Abbasi Saab in NSC
Wonderful.
because he's also really guided me in different situations where I'm down and about and I'm like, what to do next. And he tells me like I was in just a quick thing I had. I was in incubation center in my university fast.
Okay.
The teachers were, or the guy who was handling it, was from another department. So there were internal department issues. I was in BBA and he was from CS. So he had some personal things coming up and he was being very kind of now. And then I came up to him and he told me that he straight examples from himself that, keep patience. If somebody is doing wrong today, tomorrow, he will realize. He gave another example of himself that one person who used to call me, bad mouth me and then used to think I'm a very, small person. Down the line 15 years he came up to me and he came up to me for a job, and before he was so all this situation just I'm just like I'm remembering and I'm saying, so all of these things really come up
It
with
comes
that.
full circle.
It does definitely.
And the spiritual thing that you said, I think, is also very valuable because it starts from a different realm. It starts at a different place, and then you materialize it in on this plane. So that's quite interesting. So Capital Delights, what was it like running this food business, and how long did you run it for, and then what happened to it?
All right. So I started around about in 2016, and obviously, as I said, how I started,
Yeah.
and then I was studying, and I was in LGS back in A level. So LGS, they called me up. They're like, we've heard about you. We have a whole rooftop cafe which we want to have like a restaurant feel, because before there was a small canteen, and obviously, so that came out of an idea, and this was a new idea in Islamabad. Nobody else was done like a whole rooftop cafe. I'll share some pictures with you
Yeah.
that it was like all set up like proper sitting, a rooftop cafe, live cooking. And then that came up, and it was a great experience because students used to just run, and they used to have like a restaurant feel while they were studying. They were A level students, they had like university as well, O levels as well. So it just became a very impactful thing for them, and that kind of have a really positive effect on their studies as well. So that was around about 2017 and 2017 and 2018. And meanwhile, I was studying in fast, and so that took me a long time to get my, because in university there was a canteen that was there for 15 years, and
Okay.
trust me, like all the students who were there, they're gonna say it was shit food. We used to get like keeda aa raha hai, kabhi kuch nikal raha hai, kabhi kuch, and we did not able to have it other than the packet food. So I went to the admin, and then it took me like a year or so. I was very persistent. I'm like, I need to do this. This is an idea. And teen dafa presentations, that, I think this is going to change. Like the idea was that there's going to be a container cafe which will be having live cooking. You will have live grill burgers coming up. You'll have live pizza being made up, just making it exciting and some sitting there long. And then that happened, and that was a huge game changer. And as I said, I believed in it. I thought of it, and then it happened after some time, and obviously after a lot of people coming up, and then meanwhile that happened. There was COVID coming up as well, so I projected that universities are going to be closing. That's going to be a challenge. And in between, I was looking around. So if you see Main Sumbul Road, F10 Marcus, like you've seen Outfitters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's one day I was crossing. I'm like, I need my place here. And then to get a place there is actually very tough because such in the middle of the city, and there's no place available. That was fighting, and then there was one shop being sold from one person to another. So it's like 6 7 months. I'm just giving in between where you cannot, like there was no renting. But I went to the person who got it, the shop. And I was like, I'm paying you this. When you have that document sorted, I'm gonna have this. Then I opened up in F10 Markers on the main Sumbul Road, and just next to F9 Park as well.
And this is again Capital Lights.
Yeah, it's all the same name.
Same name.
It's all the same name. I opened it up, and it was basically I got a concept of Chinese Thai takeouts. There's different kang paos and Sichuan, different
Yeah.
basil, and basically at that time, all those these things I'm saying would cost you around about 2,000 or 2,500 if you go to a fancy restaurant, because that's all what was happening in Islamabad. And then this was basically a takeout, not a big dine where people can sit. So you could give that in like 800, 700.
That's brilliant, Samad. So, how can people go about getting in touch with you if they'd like to connect?
All right. So basically, on my Insta, I've started sharing videos where I'm basically as you asked me a question, what are the problems or what are the things that startups can do? So there are different videos where people can. It's free, of course. Obviously, you can see the tips and tricks that they're different, and there's different topics that I choose. Like I was talking about common mistakes the business do, the video and photos versus video if you're posting on social media. So coming, you can reach out to me on Instagram. There's LinkedIn. That's Abdul Samad Amin as well, and then I have on my website the social creatives. There's a calendar link as well, so you can always book an appointment with me and talk about your business, how we can strategize, how we can grow, and I'm looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Wonderful, Samad. A real pleasure to have you on the show, and good luck with all your future endeavors. And so glad that you're helping so many founders get to where they need to be in Pakistan.
Thank you, Nama. Thank you for calling me. It's always great seeing you. It's a great. It was a pleasure being here, and looking forward.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Take care. And to our audience, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Detox. Till the next time. See you again. Love